Hello out there, this is Mark, and I want to show you something that I created. It is a program on the computer that simulates a game that I used to play when I was a kid. And the game I played was a tabletop baseball game from Sports Illustrated. Unfortunately, they only made the game for 3 years, 70, 71, and 72. If you played the game, this image you see will look familiar. This is one of the team charts for one of the teams in 1971. It is for the Detroit Tigers. If you haven't played the game, I will explain a little how these charts work and how the game's played. The game comes with these charts, one for each team. Comes with instructions and dice. There's 3 dice that roll numbers between 10 and 39. The 10s are rolled less frequently. The 20s are more than the 10s, and the 30s are the most. And then the most in each range are the 4s and the 5s. So 34, 35 are the most common rolls of these dice. And basically, what you do is you roll the dice and determine the result of the play. So you can see this team here has 15 players. You can see their names. If they're green, they bat right-handed. If they're red, they bat left-handed. You can see the positions they play and their ratings for each position. You can see the star. If it's a red star, it means they're not a good bunter. If it's a green star, they are a good bunter. And the number inside the star is their running speed on the bases. And that goes from 0 to 5, with 5 being the fastest runners. So you can see that you see 2 lines for each player. So one's for batting against left-handed pitching, and one's for batting against right-handed pitching. And what you do is you roll the dice, and you go to the cell that has for the number that you rolled against the pitcher that you're batting against, and you determine the result of the play. If it's red, it's different kinds of outs. If it's green, it's different kind of hits. If it's yellow, it's a walk or a hit by pitch. If it's blue, it's a strikeout. And if it's white, it's an error. My program calculates the batting average based on the results of each line. You can see that over on the right. That didn't come with the game. That's something that I added. So there's the batters for the Detroit Tigers. And if you hit P on this program, you can see the pitchers. So this would be the reverse side of the batters team sheet. And here's the pitchers, the starting pitchers on the top, and the relief pitchers are on the bottom. If they're green, they're a right-handed pitcher. If they are red, they're a left-handed pitcher. And the way the game works is you roll the dice for the pitchers first. And if it's a green box, then that means that you roll it again, and the result comes from the batter's card. If it's a ground out or a fly out or a blue box for a strikeout or a yellow box for a walk, then that means that the result is off of the pitcher's result line. The yellow X's are things like wild pitches and pass balls and hit by pitches and things like that. The 1+ is a hit. So you get a single if the pitcher rolls a 1+ for your batter. The D's are defensive outstanding plays. So based on the team's total defense number, if you roll a 10 through a 15, that might be an outstanding play for that defensive team. And that's just a plain old ground out. So that's the way that works, and that's how the defense is incorporated into this game. So that's I will show you how the game works now by going back to the main menu of my game that I wrote. And what you can do with this game is play a regular game just like the game works. Pick the teams, pick the lineups, pick the pitchers, roll the dice, on and on and on, and play the entire game. Or you can play a game against the computer, and the computer manages a game, and the computer will decide. It'll pick a random lineup out of the 10 common lineups that are built into this game for each team. So it picks out one of those 10. It chooses the pitcher that is supposed to pitch in that game based on what pitchers pitched in which game. So if it's game 5 for a team, it knows who started game 5 in the real 1971, and it'll use that pitcher. It will decide on pinch hitters in certain situations, relief pitchers. It will steal bases. It will bunt in certain situations, and that kind of thing. So you can play a game against the computer. You can tell the game to play a whole bunch of games by telling it which teams play, how many games, or you can tell the computer to play the entire American League season or the entire National League season, and it'll do that as well. You can look at league standings. You can look at team statistics for any team at any given point. You can look at the league leaders, and you can look at the team sheets here. So I will show you how the game works. I will hit C, which means play a game against the computer. I'm the Detroit Tigers fan, so I will have the Detroit Tigers and go out and visit the Oakland Athletics and play a game in Oakland. So that's 4,12, and that's that screen, and I confirm yes. Now it asks me who wants to manage the computer, and the computer will be managing the Oakland Athletics, so I just hit 2. Now it asks me who I want to start for my pitching for the Detroit Tigers, and I will say I want to start Mickey Lolich. You can see the statistics here. I've already played a whole season automatically, and that there's the wins and losses in the ERA for the pitchers for that season up to this point. So I picked Mickey Lolich for my starter. They picked Chuck Dobson for their starter. So that's the starters. Now here I have to pick my lineup. You can see the 15 players that you saw on the team chart. Here it shows their positions that they play and the ratings. They're in the middle, and then the colorful boxes is their line of results against a right-handed pitcher, because Chuck Dobson is a right-handed pitcher and he's pitching today for the Oakland Athletics. So I can either pick my lineup manually, or I can hit 99 and have the game pick one of the lineups that's loaded. So I'll just show you how that works. So I hit 99 and it picks me out this lineup. So I don't want to use this lineup, so I'll say no. I'm going to make my own lineup against right-handed pitching. I'll go with Dick McAuliffe leading off. It's a right-handed pitcher, so I'm going to go with Jim Northrup, a left-handed hitter batting second, playing center field. Then I'll have Al Kaline bat third. I want Norm Cash, my first baseman, to bat cleanup. I'll have Willie Horton in left field. I will have catcher Bill Freehan. I will have third baseman Aurelio Rodriguez. And I will have my shortstop be Eddie Brinkman. So 7, shortstop. So there's my lineup. There's my players and the positions and the batting order. So I'll say yes to that. The computer randomly picked one of the 10 lineups that are built in. And here's the lineup that they picked for Oakland. So I hit enter for that. Now I can decide. This shows the ratings of the teams, the total defensive ratings, and they're about the same. The Tigers and the Athletics are 22 and 23. So that'll determine if one of those D's on the pitcher card is an outstanding player or not. It asks me if I want to see the dice, and I'll say yes for this purpose. And then it says, here comes the top of the first. And you can see the background is Oakland Alameda County Stadium. That's where the Oakland Athletics played in 1971. That's where they actually still play today. Yeah, I have loaded in pictures of each stadium from the 1971 era that uses background depending on who the home team is. So here you see the Tigers are up first. They're the visiting team. McAuliffe is at the bat. Chuck Dobson is the pitcher, and I can push different buttons and it'll have different results. So if a B is bunt, a S is steal, a Q is pinch runner, a P is pinch hitter, a R is relief pitcher, a D is defensive change, and a W is intentional walk. Or if I hit the space bar, it'll just be a regular at bat. So most of the time I hit the space bar, so I'll hit it the first time, and there's the roll of dice. That's a 32. The black one is 10s, and the white ones are 1s. So 32 for Chuck Dobson. If you see the colorful lines in the screen, the green and the red and the yellow, that top one's the pitcher, Chuck Dobson. The bottom one is Dick McAuliffe against a right-handed pitcher. So each group of boxes are, the left is the 10s, and the middle is the 20s, and the right is the 30s. So I roll a 32 for Chuck Dobson. That's a green box. So now I roll again for Dick McAuliffe, and he rolls a 28, and that happens to be a green box. If you know, 28 is the second from the right on the middle grouping. So that's going to be a hit. That happens to be a 1, a bloop single. So that's a good start for the Tigers. We'll go ahead and do Jim Northrup, 26 for Dobson, a 34 for Northrup. Northrup pops out. Here we go, Chuck Dobson against Kaline. He rolls a 32, so Kaline gets to roll the dice. He rolls a 36. and that is a ground out force out. So McAuliffe gets forced to second. Kaline goes down to first. You can see in parentheses the running speed of the runners. I show that on the base runners, so you can decide if you want to steal or not. I probably won't be stealing with the Tigers since they are slow. Okay, Dobson throws another 32, and Norm Cash rolls a 14, which happens to be a pop out. An F is a pop out. On the result screen, if it's on the left side of result of play, that means the result came from the batter. And if it's on the right side, it means the result came from the pitcher. So that's the end of the first inning. Here comes Mickey Lolich against Bert Campaneris. So there's a 35 from Lolich, and that is a fly out, a pop out from Lolich since it's on the right. So Campaneris didn't even get to roll the dice on that one. Here we go, a 34 from Lolich. That is a green box, so Joe Rudi rolls a 26, and Joe Rudi gets a single. Reggie Jackson is up next. 38 is a yellow X. That's going to be a wild pitch or something like that. So you roll the dice again to find out what the result is. It's a 24, and that happens to be a pass ball. So Joe Rudi goes down to second, and Reggie Jackson stays at bat. So here we go again. We roll the dice. Mickey Lolich rolls a 23. Reggie Jackson rolls a 23, and it's a strikeout. And then here comes Mike Epstein with 2 outs, a 34, and then a 24 means a medium deep fly out. So Lolich gets through the first inning. We're in the second inning, and I'll just kind of speed things up to get through these innings and show you how this works. So Willie Horton gets a double to lead off. There he is down at second base. Bill Freehan. Let's go ahead and let Bill Freehan hit away. I was thinking about bunting, but that's not very realistic. So Freehan gets a single and scores Horton. Let's see Aurelio Rodriguez. Let's see Aurelio Rodriguez do a bunt. So I hit a B, and that's a 36 for a good or bad bunt or whatever he is. And that turns out to be a ground out force from the bunt chart. So Freehan gets out at second. Rodriguez is now at first. There's Rodriguez is at 2. Let's have him steal. So I hit an S, and it rolls a 38 for the stealing. And that happens to be a successful stolen base. So there's Rodriguez down at second with Eddie Brinkman still at bat with 1 out. So there's a 24 from the pitcher and a 33 from Eddie Brinkman, and that's a pop out. And here comes Mickey Lolich. Bad timing to have the pitcher up because pitchers can't hit usually, and he didn't hit. Okay, we have Bando leading off. There's a 14. Let's see if it's an outstanding play. So 14 is the number for Detroit Tigers outstanding play. So you can see the little D, and it turns out to be a ground out due to outstanding defense. So Bando is out. Angel Manguel comes up next, the 33, and then a 35 means he grounds out. Gene Tennis is the next batter up, and Gene Tennis is out. So we're through 2 innings. It's 1-0 Tigers, and we'll just continue on playing. There's a leadoff home run for Dick McAuliffe, so the Tigers scored run number 2. There is a double for Northrup, so the Tigers are hitting old Chuck Dobson pretty well. At a certain point in time, the computer figures out that the pitcher's getting hit too hard and letting up too many runs, and we'll go ahead and just put in a reliever. But that hasn't been reached yet. Let's just keep playing. Freehan is able to sacrifice fly home Al Kaline. It's now a 4-0 game, and that triggered the manager to come in and take Chuck Dobson out of the game. So he picks Raleigh Fingers to come in and start pitching. And here goes Raleigh Fingers. Raleigh Fingers strikes out Rodriguez, so he's end of that inning is over. It's 4-0. So let's work our way through this a little quicker. Campaneris singles. Now Campaneris is a 4 runner. I wonder if they're going to steal, but since they're behind 4-0, they might not steal. They do decide to steal. So we roll the dice 34. Campaneris steals second. So the computer manager steals second base with Campaneris, and that doesn't help him because the next batter just made an out. Here's Eddie Brinkman is out. Lolich strikes out. Ground out for McAuliffe. So we're working our way through the game. Jackson leads off with a hit. We walk Epstein. Bando pops out. There's a single for Angel Manguel scoring Jackson from second, so the Oakland A's are on the board. But Lolich pitches out of the jam. It's 4-1. Northrup leads off with an out. out for K-line and cashes out 1, 2, 3. Here we go with these guys. Campaneris is on first. They don't. Maybe they'll decide to steal now. They did not. They decide not to steal this time. So we keep going around. Horton's out. Fingers is pitching a lot of innings here in relief. Manguel is out. Tennis singles. Dick Green is walks. Okay, here we go. Here we are at the bottom of the seventh, bottom of the sixth. They're behind. Pitchers up. They may have pinch hitter, and they do. No, they decided to bunt. So Raleigh Fingers is going to bunt with 1 out. The roll is 31, and it's a force out. Green gets forced at second on the bunt. If it was later in the game, I think it would have been a pinch hitter instead of a bunt. So they get a run out of it. So they're still up. Rudy's up now. So now it's a 4-2 game. The Tigers have their ace, Mickey Lolich, so I'm just going to leave him in and let him bat, even though he probably makes an out, and he does. McAuliffe strikes out. Northrup grounds out, so we're still a 4-2 game. Reggie Jackson leads off with a single. Mike Epstein comes up with a strikeout. Bando is a single up the gap, so they got a threat going here. Angel Manguel pops out. That's a good thing for the Tigers. And Gene Tennis comes up with 2 men on, and Gene Tennis is out, so Lolich pitches out. Here we are in the 8th inning, coming down to the end of the game here. They go 1, 2, 3 in the 8th. Here's the bottom of the 8th with Dick Green. Dick Green walks. Here's Raleigh Fingers, bottom of the 8th. Pinch hitter. The computer decided to pinch hit for the batter. The computer brings in Tommy Davis from the bench of Oakland Athletics in 1971. Tommy Davis rolls a 15, which is a single. Here we are with Bert Campaneris up with 2 out, 2 runners and nobody out. Let's see how Bert does against Mickey Lolich. Bert singles against him. Joe Rudy. Let's just see what happens. Let's bring in a relief pitcher. Lolich is a left-hander against a right-hander, so I'm going to bring in one of my right-handed relief pitchers. I'll pick Tom Timmerman. Now I got a righty versus a righty. It changes the line of Joe Rudy. Timmerman gets a ground out, but the tying run scores. And Reggie Jackson doubles home Campaneris. Now the Oakland Athletics have had a big inning here in the bottom of the 8th. And it's still going. The bases are loaded with Gene Tennis up. Timmerman doesn't seem to be very effective. Let's bring in Joe Niekro to see if he can put the fire out. 2 outs. Joe Niekro 34-23. Joe Niekro gets Gene Tennis. They pinch hit for their pitcher, so they have a relief pitcher coming in for the top of the 9th, and it happens to be Darryl Knowles. So they're ahead 5-4. Oakland is ahead, and Bill Freehan leads off 25. 28 for Freehan. He strikes out. Aurelio Rodriguez is going to come up next. 32 off Knowles. 33 for Aurelio. He's out. All right, let's do a pinch hitter here. Like, we're down to our last out. It's Eddie Brinkman. He's not a great hitter. It's a left-handed pitcher. So we'll hit P for pinch hitter. And here's my choices. I am going to go with Gator Brown. Look at Gator Brown. He's got a home run on 31. He's got some other hits in the 30s. I think Gator Brown is the right pick, so there's a 15. Here comes Gates Brown with his homer on 31. You can see on the board now. Knowles throws a 34, which is a green box. Gates Brown hits a 26, which is going to be an out. Gates Brown flies out to end the game. There's the end of the game, 5-4 Oakland. Here's the stats for this individual game. You can see the Tigers had 7 hits. They had 4 runs. They had a home run by Dick McAuliffe. RBIs are shown there. Stolen bases, 1 by Aurelio Rodriguez. Now you can see the Oakland A's. There's their pinch hitter down at the bottom, Tommy Davis, who pinch hit with a hit. There's they're all their hitters. They didn't have any home runs. Campaneris had a couple of RBIs. They had actually 1 double and no other extra base hits. They had a stolen base by Campaneris. So there's their batting stats. Here's the pitching stats. Lolich led up all 5 runs, pitching 7 innings. The relievers pitched 1 inning between them, let up 0 runs. Here's the Oakland Athletics. You can see that Chuck Dobson started, but only lasted 2 2/3 innings. He let up all 4 runs. Rollie Fingers came on, pitched 5 1/3 innings, no runs. He got the win. Knowles comes in, pitches the 9th inning, strikes out 1, lets up no runs, and gets a save. So that's how the game works. I played an entire game. Now let me show you what you can do here. I'll zero out all the statistics. Now you can play an entire season. Let's play the American League. First I'll look at the standings. I zeroed everything out, so there's nothing there. Now I'll hit A for American League. So what this does is play every game in order that they were played in 1971 with the starting pitchers the same as in 71, with the 10 common lineups being randomly picked for by the managers. Let's see how the results are. If I go to S, Baltimore Orioles won the East, which they did in 1971, and the Oakland A's won the West. So that was the correct winners of each division. I don't know if the order is exactly right, but it looks like the better teams won more games than the weaker teams. So let's go ahead and do the same thing for the National League. I hit N and then I hit yes, and it plays all the games for the National League. And let's see the results of the National League. It's the same as what happened in 71. The Pirates won the East, and the Giants won the West. So the 4 division winners are correct here. Now I'll show you what you can look at. Let's look at team statistics. Let's look at the Baltimore Orioles. The Baltimore Orioles had 111 wins. They were the best team in this season, in this run. They didn't win the World Series in 1971. The Pirates beat them, but let's see what their team looks like. Here's the team batting. Let's go Baltimore Orioles for batting. And there's what happened during this simulation using this game. That you can see that the 15 batters of the Orioles, you can see the games that they played, their at-bats, their home runs, their batting average, the whole bit. And they had some solid performances. Look down the home run line. You get 28, 20, 26, 26 for Robinson. The Robinson brothers, they're not brothers, but Frank hit 26 and Brooks hit 28. The leading batter was, looks like Davey Johnson batted .310. He was the top batting average for the Orioles that year, so that's all good. Now, if I wanted to look at team pitching, let's look at Baltimore again. They won 111 games. In the real world, they had 4 20-game winners in 1971. Let's see if they have 4 this year. They did not reach 4 20-game winners. They had Cuellar with 24, and then 3 of them had 18 wins. So the relievers won more games in this simulation than they did in the real world 1971. But you can see that it shows innings pitched, games started. The game started will match real life because I put in who started every game in which order, so that'll be the same as what happened in real life. ERA is there, number of strikeouts, innings pitched. You can see all that. So that's kind of cool. You can look at the stats at any time during the year, at the end of a year. You can look at who led the league in different categories. So I will do the league leaders. Let's look at the National League this time. Let's look at the batting statistics. Let's look at the batting average. It asks me minimum number of at-bats to qualify. Let's see, the batting champion in 1971 National League was on this run, and it is Joe Torre from the St. Louis Cardinals. He batted .348, and you can see all the way down. That might be correct. I think Joe Torre was the batting champion in 1971, so that matches up. Let's see, home runs. Oh, my goodness gracious. That's a little higher than I think Willie Stargell actually hit 48 or some home runs in the actual season. But in this run, he tied Babe Ruth. He had a few more than he did in real life. Let's see about runs batted in. And it's Stargell again with 150, Torre with 149. So you can see all these statistics. Let's look at league leaders. Let's look at American League pitching. Let's look at the ERA king for this year. Let's say he had to pitch 200 innings. And the leader of ERA was, my goodness, Vida Blue with .96. That is a bit lower than he really did that year, and makes me wonder what his line looks like. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to look at the team statistics. I'll look at pitch National American League pitching. No, that's not what I wanted to do. I want to look at the team. I want to look pitching. I want to look at Oakland A's. So here's the Oakland A's. There's Vida Blue right on the top. He started 40 games, pitched 308 innings, which is probably about the number of innings he pitched. But he won 27 games and lost 3 with an ERA of .96. So he had a phenomenal year, better than he really did in that year. Oakland won 104 games, which is probably about the same as what they really won. Catfish Hunter was their other ace pitcher. Raleigh Fingers pitched a lot of games in relief and won a lot of games in relief. So that's how that works. So I've shown you how the games are played, the team statistics you can look at any time, the standings, the league leaders, and that's how this game works. So hope you had some enjoyment from this, and I will continue writing programs because I have fun doing it.